Recording is on.
Go ahead, say what you need to say.
No, I was just saying he's on
Well,
the train, so he might like dip in and out.
oh, I heard him when he said that. Um, and and we are live. Welcome everybody to another episode of You Know What? Let me just say podcast. I am your host Ray. With me as always, we have Father.
Steam took all my motherfucking money.
We have Dion.
Yo,
We got Tony. I know he probably be in and out, and we also got Money Mark that's in and out on the train.
Yeah, we got Money Mark featuring just Jesse. Say hi, Jesse.
Hi. Money Mark.
Hi, Jesse.
greetings.
He said hi.
Hi.
Really? Hi. Okay, so let's start with the first thing that actually happened yesterday. Donald Trump has officially been impeached. Now I know for some people there are more steps to it, but right now we can literally say that Donald Trump has been impeached from the House. So judging by how everything like these 4 years of being under Trump's presidency and him finally getting impeached, how do y'all feel about that? Who wants to start off with that?
Um, okay, so Trump, honestly, I could see the danger that he poses. He wasn't even supposed to be president in the first place.
Thank you.
But all in all, for real, he ain't really, how can I put this? He ain't really been all that like detrimental to black folks. Like he ain't never really done anything to like directly oppose us. He's done it to impose immigrants, which is part of which I guess has which I guess would pose an issue for me because I come from a family of immigrants. I have an uncle that actually got deported, so he's back in Ghana right now. He's doing good though. He's fine. He's not really all that worried about it. But yeah. Yeah. Other than that, like he hasn't really been opposing like black folks, like as a whole. Now, the people who support Trump, on the other hand, those are the people like that we needed to like watch out for and their rhetoric. It was more so them than like Trump himself. So when it comes to the 4 years, like the first 2 years, it was the block was hot. Like I remember, when he got inaugurated and shit, there were protests everywhere. Like all over the country, people were protesting. People were just like, no, we need to get this dude out. And then at the same time, you had a lot of the Trump supporters or a lot of, white supremacists, there was getting bucked, there was getting bold, like all throughout, and even past the first 2 years, like it was Muslim bans and shithole country. Haiti's a shithole country, and they bring their drugs and their rapists and stuff like that.
Sorry.
And it's just like, bro, he's literally dumb. Like this dude is literally dumb when it comes to just talking to people and like actually being a president. So of course you're gonna have people that's gonna want to smoke with you all 4 years, and that's what the Democrats was trying to do. But the problem is the Democrats are bitch made. This new batch of Democrats is bitch made. You know, it seemed like all they even really worried about is immigrants and LGBT, which is fine. If that's what you want to advocate for that. But to ignore a whole nother people that's a large part of your voting block, to just straight up ignore them for these two, you're not gonna do that. And then not only that, they had ways of trying to mitigate us and trying to tell us, oh, we're people of color, all a high rising tide will lift all boats and all that shit. And we're like, nah, we're not falling for that shit anymore. You know, you guys didn't want fucking Trump to be in office, but y'all didn't back up what you was finna say on your end, and then the dude got elected because we wasn't trying to fall for that okey doke just voting just to vote. Because what was the other option? Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is just as bad. And another thing about Hillary Clinton is that she wasn't even supposed to be the Democratic nominee anyway. It was actually supposed to go to Bernie Sanders. But
You just hit something that I was getting ready to say.
yeah, like Dion, you already know. So but that's another conversation. But back to Trump. I just feel like his whole 4 years, we really just saw a side of America that, like, as black people, we been knew the shits. But then you had a whole bunch, and you can look at the actual statistics of who voted for Trump, especially in Florida. A lot of them Cubans and a lot of them Hispanics voted for Trump. A lot of them white women voted for Trump. There's a lot of people. There was a few black folks that voted for Trump too. A few gay people that voted for Trump. There was a lot of people that Trump was like against that voted for Trump. So they needed to hold that shit. So when that dude started deporting people and holding them in cages and not really doing anything for LGBT, when he removed the transgenders from the military and shit like that, I'm like, oh, now look at y'all. Y'all thought because y'all were white or y'all wanted to be white passing that y'all could, try and get away from the shit, and then the shit finally caught up to you. And now you want to look as black folks as your motherfucking savior. Shut the fuck up and hold your own nuts. We're not finna
Okay,
save everybody. Our capes is off. And you're gonna try to sit there and try to, we're all in this together. Martin Luther King said, shut the fuck up. You voted for that man. He is in office, and you just got to
I
deal
gotta
with it.
jump in. I gotta jump in. Oh shit! Because you're you have a bad habit of literally saying everything that I be thinking. We got to do something about that. But I wanted the one thing I wanted to hit on also was that why did the Republicans even allow Trump into their circle? Am I the only one who remembers Trump saying, "Oh, if he were to ever make an attempt at the presidency, he'd run as a Republican," and his reason why, basically him talking about how dumb the Republicans were,
You mean Democrat?
this, that, and the third.
He wanted to
No,
run as a
he
Democrat.
no, he originally said he would run as a Republican. Sim- he was the main one talking about how stupid they were, how they believe anything that they show on Fox News and this, that, and the third. This was out of Trump's own mouth. Look it up. But it's just like knowing this. It's just like why, and and then for the people who voted for him, it's just like how did you not know who this dude was and what he was about? You know, this dude is a known racist. Fun fact: his family has hella ties to the KKK.
Yup.
So, well known racist, well known as a crook. Look into his history as a businessman, and it's just like why would the Republicans even consider giving him a glance? And then the only thing that makes sense to me, knowing what I know about Trump, this this whole thing with Donald Trump even getting into office, I feel like this was out of spite towards Barack Obama.
Also true.
That's literally the only thing that makes sense. You went from having the one black president we've ever had who's actually making an attempt to do right, as I said earlier before we started recording, yeah, certain scenarios where he couldn't help everybody like he wanted to, whatever. But it is what it is. That's just the nature of the beast when it comes to certain lines of work. You know, you can't always please everybody. But you go from the black dude who's actually trying to do good to this. And the other thing I wanted to say is, on one hand, it's messed up that things got this far along with the things that Donald Trump had been doing and saying over the past few years before finally hitting the point of him getting impeached or whatever. The same time, people need to just be glad it's happening because if it does go all the way through, this keeps him out of the upcoming election and we have an opportunity to start fresh. And I pray to God the Republicans don't win after this BS. So, that's the biggest thing. I'm just like, okay, let's get this over with. Let's remove the cancer that is Donald Trump, and then let's start fresh. Now, if an independent party steps up that actually how'd I get muted?
I don't know. What are you saying?
I was saying now if an okay, that's not
Are you having technical difficulties?
okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, what the hell? So I was saying with the upcoming election, we actually have a chance to start fresh. And if an independent party comes in that can actually get something done, personally, I'll be all for it because, like you said, the Democrats seem to have gone soft. And with that, I'm through.
Democrats are definitely going to solve. That's for damn sure. Ray, you there?
Uh,
Probably stepped
okay.
out.
He could have forewarned us.
Nah, it's good. But I don't know. It just seemed like this whole impeachment shit, like, it's almost 2020. Like, the dude is damn near done with his term anyway. So, I mean, it's cool that, yeah, like, we got him impeached and shit, but y'all was crying for the latter, like, time of, like, 3 years. Like, ever since he was, like, the Republican nominee for presidency, like, all they did was cry. We can't let him go into the White House. It's really bad. I'm like, bruh, like, all right, then do something about it. Like, what y'all finna do? But y'all spent the latter part just fucking bickering amongst each other, than actually having a code to beat them. And then not only that, you've selectively undermined the black community by the way of the LGBT and immigrants. Which, again, if you want to advocate for them. That's fine. But to undermine an entire group of people, to do that is wrong.
Oh, uh, that brings up that brings up another thing. You know what I think their biggest mistake was the Democrats. What I think their biggest mistake was
What?
the the one person that was a legitimate. Okay, he can do this thing. Bernie Sanders. He did not get the support he deserved.
Yeah.
He didn't get the support he deserved.
But that's mainly because he's a socialist, and I guess they don't really like socialism.
That would have been better than what's going on where we are currently. It it's one of those things. Okay, suck it up because what's coming next is not healthy for us.
Shit, if you really think about it, it hasn't been healthy for us for a very long time. That's just facts. Even before, even when Obama was nominee, there was a lot of racism that he had to deal with. And when he won his second term, like you remember when Obama was in office, they was calling his wife monkey. They was trying to say he wasn't born in the U.S. All that bullshit. So now when people started keeping that same energy with Trump, now all of a sudden we being divisive. I
Yeah. All that pining about him, showing his taxes and having to relinquish control of all of his businesses and this, that, and the third, and he ain't do not near lick of that. And and everyone who was jumping down Barack Obama's throat about everything you just mentioned, oh, they turned a blind eye to Trump.
exactly hypocrites. But I wouldn't, that's just America. America's full of hypocrites. And that's not even like to, shit on them, but we gotta tell the truth.
It's it's sorry, but it's sorry to say this, but it's one of the building blocks of this country. It's basically right alongside racism.
Wait, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I had to leave. So what I was saying was that from the beginning of Donald Trump's presidency, along with Congress and Senate, they already planned to mitigate the food stamp give out to men and women who don't have any kids and who are just trying to abuse the system. Because, which I'm not trying to sound like a dick, but I do agree with mitigating the food stamps for certain people of that limitation because I know people personally that abuse that system and they don't want to better themselves. They just wait on a check every month. Meanwhile, you got folks like us that's out here busting our ass. And since we're the middle class, we pay for everybody's bullshit. So it's like, why should I have to give my taxes to you when you're choosing to not better yourself and you're choosing to wait on that check every month, but you are an able body that could have got out there and did something. But you got other
Right,
people that
right.
come in this country illegally that get less paid than you, still pay taxes, and work harder than you with disabled bodies. So there's no excuse for those people, but it is hard to determine who really needs it and who really doesn't. Because you do have some men and women that are in that age group that they cut off and they're not able to work for some reason. Maybe something happened, maybe they have an issue or whatever the case may be. I feel bad for those people. Hopefully they didn't lose their benefits. But for those who don't want to do anything, I think they had the absolute justification of taking it away. I truly believe that because in my neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, and I'm pretty sure this happens all the time in y'all neighborhoods and y'all seeing this shit too, where people be trading food stamps like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like it don't make no sense. So if y'all just trading food stamps and money with each other and y'all are abusing the system so y'all don't have to work, then hell yeah, they should take it away from y'all because you didn't value it when it was here. You didn't want to do anything. And now they took it away. Now you want to complain. I don't even think that was Trump that did that. I believe Congress and Senate was trying to get rid of that for a while, but they used Trump as the scapegoat for that one. Plus, you had the federal government workers that were complaining about paying for those assistant facilities for those groups of people for the longest time. The federal government workers get taxed out the ass to help support those programs. They fill out documentation on a regular basis to keep that open. They got tired of it. So they said, hey, you know what? The bad guy's already in office. Let's use him and just cut this part off. So they've been planning that. So I don't blame Trump for the food stamp thing, but he wants to mess up everything else uh, without international like alignment with other people, because he won't stop talking shit. He was fucking that up, but the food stamp thing, no, I don't blame him for that one. And I think in some cases, it is justified. That's all I was saying.
Yeah,
Can
completely
y'all
get
hear me
that.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh my fucking god! Just I had to restart my damn phone.
It's
Uh,
all gravy.
what? First things first. Thank y'all for keep talking. Second, I think what I want to say because I still was listening to everybody. A lot of y'all, a lot of sense. I agree with a bunch of y'all, especially since I say this all the time. I'm not a Trump supporter, but I do not hate Trump like everybody else. When usually when you hear people like say Donald Trump, they have this like long, exasperate like sigh and all that other stuff, and like they tell you how much they hate Trump. I didn't. I'm not a big fan of Trump, but I thought he wasn't. I never looked at him as someone that's presidential. I kind of looked at him as an idiot, and it's like, why did we give someone that's known to like bankrupt cities and um every business he done had done bankrupt except like the Trump Towers. It's like why are we giving this man presidential now as far as like for black people, it was the way I looked at it, I sometimes I felt like we didn't matter. Like we really didn't matter. I felt like even with Trump trying to get the black vote, I felt like he was trying to get the vote for the people that just rock with him. He didn't care about the other black people that didn't fuck with him because obviously the people that voted for him was like old white women and like other and actually his a couple of Hispanics that was actually for Trump and all that other stuff. So like he never had the presidential vibe, and he's shown it like pretty much all the time, especially like when it came to like Putin, and the whole thing was trying to spy on Joe Biden and his son and all that other stuff. That's like, why are we letting this man do all this stuff that if like I hate to bring Obama in this, but if Obama was doing any of this, y'all would not only like blast him on Fox News like they usually did, but try to get him impeached faster than they tried to get Trump. Like I felt like Obama always had to walk on eggshells, but with Trump, I felt like he was the kid. He was like walking through minefields and purposely blowing shit up just to see if you want to do something about it. Or as I like to say, he was a bully to like the Democrats because every time he did something, that was not good, he look at you like, what you gonna do about it? So as far as this impeachment going, this is me telling the Democrats, I'm glad you're finally doing something because this man, he looked like he felt untouchable, and he was kind of looking untouchable. Where I was saying, yo, Trump might do 8 years because it seems like
Oh, damn.
none of the people was like really trustworthy of the Democrats. So I also have another question, like, where do you think this leads now in the 2020 election? Because a lot of people still feel like he could still win because technically he could still run.
Well, if he doesn't, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, if the whole impeachment process goes through, then he won't be able to do nothing. But he can still stutter. He can still technically run the way things stand now. But do I imagine him making a second term? As I said earlier, I feel like he would lose to an independent party, but not to a Democrat. Because again, the Democrats have shown weakness on several occasions. The fact that Trump is only just now getting impeached, or just now starting the process of him getting impeached, you know, one of the biggest things. There was a whole issue of, oh, who's going to run against him, and I'm going to stick by this. It should have been Bernie Sanders. It shouldn't have been Hillary. You like you just knew Hillary was not going to make it. for a long list of reasons. But that's a different conversation in of itself.
Yeah, but it's not even the fact that the Democrats have only shown weakness. That I do see to some extent. But the other problem is the fact that we have the extremists of both parties trying to take control of House and Senate when the Democrats are already starting off with the L, and there's no political party in the middle to justify the means of their end goals. The Republican Party is only out for the Republican Party. The Democrat Party is only out for the Republican Party. I mean, for the Democrat Party. And the extremes of both of those parties do not support what the United States should be focusing on as a whole. They don't work together. They don't put any ideas together. They only want their extreme and like the end justify the means of both of their parties, and that doesn't support America in any kind of way or form. I don't care what nobody says. Like you know, whether the world is run by Republican or Democrat, everyone is not benefiting. Some are, not everyone.
Right.
Because, in my opinion, if you want to run a proper government, you can have your two parties. But why not have the guy in the middle that pulls the political ideas from both parties? You all sit the fuck down and you figure out what works best for the country as a whole. Not just because the Republicans want to keep stuff for the rich, and not because the Democrat want to support every other letter that's been added to the LGBT XYZ double H ho, whatever that is. Like you don't need all of that. Not saying I don't support the LGBT community and what they're doing, but the extreme Democrats that wants to pour their funding into, what they got going on. Some of that stuff that they do is by choice, but we need to focus on what makes America a stabilized country for all who want to come here to work, to prosper, and thrive. Fuck the bullshit. They don't know. No, nobody knows what they're doing. There's no middleman.
See,
Tony, you want to say something?
Yeah. My idea is on it that that he's not gonna get impeached fully because Senate owns the House, and they
Mm.
say they're gonna shut that shit down right off the break. So when it goes to the Senate, they're not. They say they're gonna shut it down as soon as possible, as quick as they can, because they don't want no witnesses, they don't want to hear nothing. They're just gonna shut it down what it is. And then it's crazy because it's like y'all was saying earlier, if Obama would have did even half of the stuff he would have did. Republicans would have been on a while. They did the same thing when Bill Clinton was in office when he got impeached. And they saying the opposite stuff they saying now because Trump is in the hot seat for being impeachment. And another thing I just don't think about it is like Donald Trump is not a smart person. I mean, the threats, the threats on Twitter. He said something about a female, a husband that was a congressman, and he was talking. He was throwing shots about her, how she was crying about uh how she asked him, can they lower the flag and give him a proper burial and stuff. He was making fun of her. You making fun of veterans. You going on people on Twitter. You spend more time doing that rather than doing what you're supposed to be doing. And then you having these events like you still running for president like once a week. You're not actually doing nothing. It's crazy because as a black man in any position, if you feel, you always got to feel like one of y'all say earlier that when Obama was in office, he felt like he was walking on eggshells. Anytime a black person got to do what another person do, you got to work 2 times harder. You got to be 2 times better.
But I
Obama
also
was
think,
Obama was 2 times better. He had to do law school everything. His wife had to do everything, and then is you sitting like Melania have this thing what was her little her thing about bullying, speak up, poke up, some I forgot what it was.
oh, you're talking about her campaign.
Her
Yeah, I know
campaign,
what you're talking about.
I forgot
Yeah,
I forgot how it went, but she's talking about bullying, and he bullies every day. He bullies every day,
yeah.
and no.
That's also because like I definitely agree with you. And the thing is like I don't think his wife realizes that her husband is a businessman. Business people bully other people all the time. That's why they're businessmen. They're bullies. That business mindset doesn't work in the political standpoint. And Donald Trump has yet to find that middle ground talk about stuff like that. I hate to cut you off, but I'm just saying I agree with that.
Oh yeah.
That's so true.
And then you also got to think about the taxes too. You know, he fucked us up on the taxes for putting money for the rich rather than the poor. And same thing I was talking about with the food stamps too. It's more white people on food stamps. All them people that be at them
Mhm.
rallies, all them people that
People
be at
don't know that.
rallies, all the people that be in
Mhm.
rallies and all that, they be saying Donald Trump, they gonna be hurt because in them small towns with just white people, they don't make a lot of money and they own food stamps. They're gonna cut them more off us. Black people, we know how to struggle. We was always struggling regardless of who the fuck is in the office. Who's news hot dogs, it doesn't matter. We already know what the struggle. But a lot of these white people, they would lose money. They'll probably shoot up a spot or something or doing some stupid stuff. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
the numbers don't lie though. It's hella a lot of white people on food stamps, but
Oh,
white
they
people
got
do
us
a good
outnumbered.
job of not talking about those people. Hmm? No, I'm just saying that, but there are a lot of white people that use the financial benefits of food stamps and aid, but you don't hear about that. That's not a stereotype. The stereotype is black Democrat in the ghetto on food stamps. You don't hear about white broke on food stamps, Republican white broke food stamps, Democrat. They exist. You don't hear about it.
Anybody else got anything to say before we move on to another topic?
Yeah, the Senate is going to be very interesting to watch, even though I'm pretty sure we all know what the hell is going to happen. And I want to see every Democrat that was talking shit about, oh, we're going to remove them. I want to see all their reactions when the Senate comes in and says no.
You know what's weird about that? Because it's obvious the Republicans don't like Trump either, but they like have to side with him. But I'd be surprised. Like if the Senate like impeaches Trump, I would be. I'm not gonna lie, I'd be surprised. But it's been like a lot of. Well, they're mostly dead now. Like who is it? Mitt Romney. I know Mitt Romney was against him. I know there was a I think Dick Cheney was against him. I think Bush was against him. There's a lot of Republicans that was like did not like Trump, but like had to deal with him because he was in there. And also, I will say this about the one positive thing about the Trump presidency, but I don't thank Trump for this, but it happened in it. That employment was the lowest. Like, if we're being fair, the employment was the lowest as it's been. But like I told everybody, when Obama was in presidency, like employment was getting low and was as low as it was during that time too, and it was the lowest in the Jefferson area. I had to tell a Trump supporter about that. Um, and a lot of I think because of a lot of people fear what Trump was going to do, a lot of black entrepreneurship did rise out of this. So it's like a lot because a lot of people was getting jobs, but a lot of people was like working 2 or 3 jobs, and like the pay rate still ain't risen. So a lot of people had to get 2 or 3 jobs. A lot of people had to get a lot of black entrepreneurships. So a lot of that had done risen in the Trump presidency. So I don't like I said, I don't thank Trump for this, but I think because of that fear of that, it kind of helped. So I think that's all I really got to say about that. On
Oh my God, we need to
let me look at my notes on to the next topic. Y'all want to talk about TLC?
wait. What about TLC?
Are you talking?
What y'all thought about TLC?
Are you
What
talking about
happened and
Deadpool
how do
TLC
y'all feel
or
about that?
Group TLC?
Good show.
The pay- the pay per view, the WWE pay per view.
Oh,
Good
um,
show.
Yeah, I was. I
You
ain't
thought it
watched.
was
I
a
ain't
good
watched
show?
TLC. I was
I,
watching the Pornhub awards.
The
oh,
Pornhub.
yeah.
It
As
was a
I
good
was saying,
award.
I thought it was good. There have been better pay per views, but I thought it was good. I give match of the
Oh
night
no,
to Buddy Murphy and Alistair Black.
I kind of gave it an average grade because there was like I think half of the matches were good, and then half of the matches was bad. I was really looking forward to that women's TLC, and kind of like looking back on it, um, you could tell Kyrie was like out of it and concussed, and like I feel like Becky was trying to protect her, but like Charlotte was like said fuck it. So I really felt kind of bad for Kyrie because like Charlotte looked like she was like throwing around like a rag doll, and I didn't feel like Kyrie looked like she could like take no more punishment. So, what you thought about it, Father?
Well, first I missed half of it, thanks to my mom. But I think the match I came back to was right after Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy. And then when I started watching that, from what I've seen so far from the half that I did watch, I thought it was pretty good. Okay, I need to address something real quick. Bray Wyatt versus The Miz. They did Miz dirty. I'm just gonna go out and say they did Miz dirty. They took what was actually pretty interesting, and then they put Bray Wyatt in there just to kind of like make him a non-issue. And the reason why I say they make him a non-issue is because yeah, he was getting some really good hits in, and he was actually beating his ass and shit. But the problem I had was when they was when they was like starting to slow down the matchup and stuff like that, you could clearly tell that Bray Wyatt was only really doing like the gimmick. You know what I'm saying? Like he was getting beat up just for the sake of he's not the Fiend right now, so he's nerfed. But we're gonna put little instances in here that shows that he's still crazy. And then once the match ended, which was whatever. Once the match ended, and then Miz was just laying there. You see a picture of the Fiend on the top, and then he's gonna go and kill him some more. And then Daniel Bryan comes out looking like the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson of ROH fame, and he beats Bray Wyatt's ass. And I'm just like, I like that part. The part that Daniel Bryan came out, that was pretty cool. But I don't know. It just felt like Miz was like kind of like a scapegoat. Like I like what they did with the whole, the whole family thing, making it super personal. But at the very end of the day, it could have been a whole lot more interesting. And maybe I'm just nitpicking, but I do look forward to seeing what's going to happen on tomorrow on Friday Night SmackDown due to the backlash of what happened and stuff. But I mean, yeah, other than that, TLC was okay. I wasn't wowed, but then again, I came in halfway. So
On that match, I heard I heard somebody on YouTube on Wrestling News or something like that. They're gonna try to have a match between Bray Wyatt and the Fiend. And they're gonna have somebody dressed as the Fiend. They're gonna go against Bray Wyatt. I don't know. I mean, that's just a rumor though. That's why I kind of thought that they had the screen thing on there. But TLC, it was okay. It could have been better than what it was.
they're probably going.
I honestly hope I do not see Bray Wyatt versus the Fiend. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like those matches never work. You've seen it with the fake Undertaker, with the fake Kane, and like I think they did it with Abyss and TNA. I feel like those never work because like it's obviously the person they get as a doppelganger never really looks remotely close to like the person they're imitating.
It don't.
Yeah,
So
but
It don't.
but you got his brother though. His brother look like him.
but his brother's not that big.
He
he's
Right.
could
not
get
that
big.
big.
Bo
He could
Dallas
get
is
big.
like half his size. Come on.
Bray
Not by
Wyatt is a
Friday.
fucking tank.
Bray Wyatt is a tank. I don't know.
Yeah,
And plus, I think like obviously Dallas, he has like long black hair, and what Bray Wyatt got brown dreads.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we not.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I
the
don't see that.
dreads gonna be connected to the mask like the
Oh
Kang joint
Lord.
That,
was.
but
You
that'd be
see,
too obvious. You'd be able to tell.
I know, but I
I don't
mean,
like Kane's new mask. I don't like.
The
I
point
don't even like Kane's new mask.
is,
We all know that's fake hair.
yeah.
but
Who hair is
but
it?
the
That shit is.
who knows? Who
Bring
knows? Who
back the
cares?
'97 Kane mask. That has got to be the most menacing thing I've seen on like a wrestler.
I love that mask. Then again, that's like my favorite wrestler, 97 Kane. It's just that was that's just one of the things where I just like was a fan of. So anything else we want to talk about before we get to our next topic?
Did y'all see the female match on NXT for the
Oh,
women's
Rhea
championship?
Ripley and
Oh yeah,
Shayna Baszler.
Ripley.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that joint was good. It
That
seemed like it seemed like NXT is doing better matches than WWE though.
that's been the case for years.
That's
Yeah.
been the case since NXT's inception. That's been the case since NXT
Well,
started.
not NXT's inception because NXT had that whole little coach mentor shit. The-
Well, that's you're talking about the whole when it was a contest. I'm talking about when they actually made it a brand and gave them their own show and all of that. You know,
Yeah,
yeah,
because I'm kind of late on. I just started watching that joint, and it's a lot better, man. If I could say,
Oh yeah, the
yeah.
takeovers will always be better than like the regular pay per views, especially when they go to Brooklyn. They always like show out in
Oh
Brooklyn,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like it's real loved in Brooklyn.
yes.
Obviously, and this is just me. I know to before we get off, Royal Rumble's coming up, and that's my favorite Royal Rumble. I hope I don't hear any damn spoilers leak because the last two Royal Rumbles have been lackluster, and I kind of like wanna like get a good one this time.
I
But Johnny
wouldn't
want
be
Morrison got to
surprised.
come out.
I hope
I,
he does.
I want predictions of who's going to win. I want to know who everyone predicts is going to win in both Royal Rumbles because you know they're doing the whole male and female Royal Rumble thing for the past few years. So
Yeah,
who you think's going to win each Royal Rumble?
I'm not gonna say who I think
I,
is gonna win. I'm gonna say who I want to win personally for both of them.
please
For
don't say.
huh?
Go ahead.
Oh, for the men's side, there's two people that I really want to see like win. Number one is my boy Drew McIntyre because people keep sleeping on my boy McIntyre, and he is a force to be reckoned with. He is a future world champion, and I want to see him actually win the world championship because he is that good, right? And second, my second pick for who I want to win the Royal Rumble is, and this is going to be a reach, Andrade, because I feel like he deserves it. Or if he doesn't win, I at least want to be Final Four because he deserves it. He has been working his ass off, like
Yeah,
constantly put
hey,
on good matches,
big facts.
All
and
right, and nah, keep going.
like no, he just constantly puts on good matches, and he's
he
like
do.
every time I see a match and Andrade is in it, like my face is glued to the fucking screen. Like that's how good this man is. So I do
He's real
want to see
good.
him get really far in the Royal Rumble and put some more juice on my man's name. Have him win a title or something because it's about that time, bro. He's already had multiple 5-star matches already under his belt. Like give him that. Give him a title. And for the women, and yes, this is full bias, Sasha motherfucking Banks, because that is my WWE wife, and that's it.
I just
All
don't
right.
want King Corbin to win. I think this is putting too much on him, man. Just for everything. Anybody else other than him?
For the men, I'm not gonna lie. Even though it's probably never going to happen. I want Kofi to win because I do. But I know I already gave him a WrestleMania moment, but I feel like after all that, and I know he's like the tag champs, but after all that, we're still not. I feel like even after he lost to Brock Lesnar, they're not giving his proper due or respect, or they don't even mention that he was a champion. So I'm hoping like at least they can like redeem it and give him a Royal Rumble win. I feel like he deserves it since he's always like the highlight. If not him, I think AJ Styles is going to win. Maybe I don't know. I feel like they're going to give it to either AJ or Daniel Bryan. One of those. For the women, and I'm with Wallace on this. Sasha Banks, but I have a strange, weird feeling that it's going to be Charlotte winning it. And I've always said that I think Charlotte might win it.
She's gonna win at least one. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it's just not if, it's more or less when.
Yeah.
They probably
All
just
right.
fuck it up. They probably just fuck it all over and have somebody from NXT to come in, do the Rumble win in both of them and win both of them.
That would be dope to see.
That
If
would be
They
anybody,
do some shit like
probably
that.
be
That
Shayna
would be dope
Baszler.
to see. That would be a nice little surprise for
Yeah,
NXT
because
competitors
you
to
you
win a
you
Royal Rumble.
everybody tired of Charlotte. Kofi Kingston won the belt so many times. It probably want somebody new, fresh blood.
He won the tag belts,
See,
but
Yeah, he won a tag belt.
and maybe the IC titles, but that was his first championship.
Yeah.
see,
Like I
for
said, that's
the
my reach. That's my reach win, but my Royal Rumble win is probably AJ Styles or Daniel Bryan, just for the story wise. But
see,
go ahead,
uh,
Theo.
for the men's side, for me, I have three picks who I personally want to win. Number one is Kofi Kingston. The reason for Kofi Kingston, he's had all these, aside from everything that was just mentioned about Kofi, he's had all these crazy moments during Royal Rumble matches, but he's never actually won a Royal Rumble. I want him to finally get that Royal Rumble victory that he's come so close to and never got. My second pick for the men's Royal Rumble is Drew McIntyre. Simply because I want to see him fight Brock Lesnar.
Wait, who?
I want to see a match between Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar.
Ah.
Because the Royal Rumble winner can pick who he wants to fight. So it don't matter what show you're on. And my third pick, Randy Orton. I feel like Randy Orton is overdue for a title reign, for another world title reign. He's too good for him to just kind of been, he's too good to be underused like he's been. I feel like he's underused. Yeah, I get he's one of your top tier talents. You're not just gonna throw him out there for people to get tired of him, but you can do more with him. You could do just a little bit more with him, and then give him, you know, give him his just due.
I kind of disagree with him being underused because he just did a championship match with Kofi. He's just been putting on matches with him and AJ Styles. I don't know if I would call him underused. Matter of fact, I done seen a lot of Randy Orton this year.
Oh, okay. You misunderstand what I'm saying about him being underused. Basically, he can. How do I word it and not make it sound weird? I want to see him just do something more than what he's been doing. Again, I just want to see him get at least one other championship run. It's been so long since he's had a belt. For him to, as good as he is, it's been so long since he's held on to a title. But that
I think the
going
last
into the
time, my bad, not to cut you off. The last time I think he had a title run was him and Bray Wyatt. How long was that?
that was a couple of
Like
years ago, but
2018.
then That was like 2 or 3 years ago. But then after that, he was just last year. He was United States champion briefly for like a couple of months, and I think he lose that to AJ Styles when AJ Styles was still on SmackDown.
I believe so, if I
But
remember correctly.
yeah, but in any case, going on to the women's side, my pick for the women's Royal Rumble is Lacey Evans.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good pick.
Boo.
I was gonna think Nia Jax gonna come back from injury and come in.
Boo.
If not Lacey, then Sasha.
So we're all in agreement. Sasha, there we go. That's right.
My number one pick is still Lacey, but Sasha's my number two.
I do like Lacey though. Lacey's cool.
Lacey's amazing.
I like her. I
I'm kind
like
of
her,
biased
but I
towards
wouldn't put
Lacey
her in
simply
the title.
because, ex-Marine, well, can't say ex, once a Marine, always Marine, all that, but, prior service. So that explains my bias toward
Mm,
Lacey Evans.
that's fine. That's fine. Uh, anything else someone want to talk about before we move on to our next topic?
Now let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Obviously, everybody, by if you're hearing this is uh, December 19th of 2019, and 2020 is almost here. So I would like to take this time to recollect the 2010s. So basically, I want each of y'all to like give your recollection on this decade and basically everything you think about this decade. Who wants to start it first?
I can start us off. So my thing about this decade was that it was a year of struggle, with a decade of struggle. Coming from the single digits of, the 2000s, we really had to come into this decade with an open mind and mindset. And so many things have happened and so many things have changed, especially for me personally. I feel like, as y'all know, because y'all know me personally, these this decade has been like it's been a decade of understanding and finding myself because I've just been through a lot of bullshit as far as like the relationships I've been in, um, as far as like the people who like I thought I could fuck with but I can't fuck with. Like this year in general, just to keep it short and sweet for me, is that this year has been a year of finding who I am, a year of reflection, understanding, and knowing that you know what I'm gonna have to really step it up in 2020 and better myself and really, really take advantage of the opportunities that I have as far as my work and, taking things to the next level with my girl and just really finding that balance in my life and just ready to move on. I think 2020 is going to be a year of change. And I ain't saying that because of some old Facebook status shit. I mean, like for me personally, I feel like it's going to be a year of change overall for everybody, even this country, because Trump is getting out of this, so we don't know what's next.
Who else want to go?
I will. See, this whole decade has been a lot of ups and downs, not just, the world over. Not just speaking personally, but the world over. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of twists and turns. Um, just not me now speaking from a personal standpoint. I'm not gonna go into full detail, but from me leaving the Marine Corps and then going through everything that I've been through, I personally have like been in and out of a lot of like dark places. Now, for me, this, the turn of the decade, basically going into the 2020s and whatnot, and me just kind of getting my life together only recently, there's some symbolism there for me. I'm still I still got a long way to go before I'm exactly where I want to be, but we're all a work in progress.
So this decade this decade has been great for me. It's been really great for me. This was the decade that I overcame my depression. This is the decade where I reconnected with my roots. This is the decade. Well, a lot of shit happened for me this decade that I can genuinely say I'm like in a better place and in a happier place. I graduated from school, got hired right after graduating. There's a lot of good shit that happened to me this decade. I've gained a lot of knowledge. I've gained a lot of insight. I've, strengthened my position on certain narratives. I'm reading much more. Like I'm, I'm physically, I'm in good shape. Mind, body, and soul is all good. Um, I had struggles here and there, you know what I'm saying? There were some times I didn't have money, or there were some times where, shit just wasn't looking up for me. But all in all, I can't complain. This has been a really good decade. Of course, I got to also give a shout out to Twitter this decade, because Twitter has been the MVP of this decade. Like for me personally, all the memes that have been shared, all the arguments that I done had with people, I've gotten to, I've gained over like 10,000 followers on Twitter. Like that's my home. Like that is my home. And I've made friends on there, you know what I'm saying? Like I've met really, really dope people. I've met really, really dope people. Just and also there's also the good with the bad, because in meeting those good people I've also met some people that are just dumb as hell. I've also seen that there's a lot of people that are just, as we say, game goofy. They just goofy as hell. They don't really know what the hell's going on. There's always something to blame. They don't ever want to take accountability, even though they want everybody else to take accountability for their shit. A whole lot of hypocrisy, a whole lot of not keeping that same energy. And it just seems like social media create these fake woke ass activists that got a lot to say, but when you pull up on them and then say it to their face, they ain't got nothing to say. And then they talk about it's not good for my mental health. Well, if it wasn't good for your mental health, you wouldn't have gotten on social media to cap as hard as you did. You should supplement that by being about that life. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's a lot of good things that we've seen, especially in the black community. Like there was a lot of growth in the black community, but we still got a long way to go. There's a lot of shit that encapsulate. Like I feel like we're leaving this decade on a better note than we did to this decade, and that's really important to know, because when we were coming in with a black man as president, and now we're leaving this decade with one of the worst presidents of all time, if you ask me. So there's a lot of shit in this decade that like happened that we can't really just we can't really just put it all into one segment, because a lot of shit has happened. And like even so much shit has happened, I can't even recollect like a lot of shit that happened in the first half of the damn decade, from 2010 to 2015. And it's just like, bro, like when you really put it into perspective, also when you get older and then you're working now, you got responsibilities and shit. The world seems to revolve faster. Like time seems to go faster when you got responsibilities and shit. And we wanted the same age as we was in school, and like yeah, it just seemed like everything was a blur now. Like it just seemed like life passing you by, and sometimes we don't really take the time to just enjoy life, just sit down and just really appreciate the shit that you got, or just sit down and realize that the shit that you're building for yourself is something that's going to be inherited to your future descendants and shit like that. So this decade for me has been very good. Like, and I'm blessed that it's been very good for me. Now when 2020 rolls around and when that decade happens, I hope to accomplish more. I hope to build more connections. I hope that I hope that the start of 2020 and beyond, I'm able to leave behind a legacy that is beneficial for everyone who sees it, or everyone who wants to take part in what I'm trying to do and in what I'm trying to build. And I also hope that in 2020 people will stop having arguments and start having discussions. I hope people emotionally aren't so emotionally just invested into things that we could be having discussions about, and we use that same energy to actually fix the problems, to actually fix specific problems than fixing generalized ones. Because when you're trying to fix a generalized problem, you're going to be looking at the wrong places the entire time. We've seen that with the feminists. We've seen that with black people and white people. We've seen that with immigrants. Every time you generalize a group of people, there is no way of really fixing the issue unless you specifically state what it is you're trying to combat. If you for example, black people want to end white supremacy. All right, let's go after the white supremacists, not just white people. Because if you get rid of the white supremacists they don't have a nucleus anymore, there's nothing for that foundation to stand on. Therefore their position is lost, and then the next generation will start to pick that up, and then all of a sudden there's no white supremacy. Well, I can't simplify it that well, because there have been literal studies on that. But I'm just saying, too many generalizations, not enough distinctions, and that was one of the big issues with this decade. And I surely do hope that we start to come away from that this next decade. So that's all I got to say on that. This decade has been really good for me, and shout out to all the SpongeBob memes.
Oh shit. Wait, hey, dude, unmute your mic. Unmute your mic.
Oh yeah, decade been good to me. I've been married for 10 years with my wife. My daughter, she's about to be married. She's 19. Got my son. He's about to graduate out of high school. Got my daughter that's 10. Working. I mean, things could be better, but I'm just blessed to be where I'm at right now, rather than less than when I was before. I think uh this decade is the decade of social media, where it's good and bad. It point out to all these females that be following black people and telling black people they can't do nothing. It help out with police officers. It's actually the first decade where a police officer got convicted of murder. Social media is like real big as far as giving out news and finding out information of what's going on, which is real big. Um, Also, in my opinion, the music, uh, a lot of the young rappers with the tattoos on their face, popping pills, and a lot of people passing away, which is a bad thing about the drugs and the pills with the music and the skinny jeans and the fucking female purses and shit. Um, I think that's about it, man. I mean, you could say so much about anything else, but I mean, it's just a social media thing. I mean, what we doing right now, it could be found on social media where we look up anything. This is also the point of heroes, superheroes, Marvel, Spider-Man. Is like the biggest thing right now. If y'all ain't catch up on Watchmen, y'all need to catch up on it. The whole season is done. It's real good. But yeah, that's all I got to say. But just hope that then after 2020, it'll be a blessful year. Hopefully, no more skinny jeans.
You're a jerk, I know. You're a jerk, I know. Are you alive, Ray? Or is
Yeah,
you
we.
Mm. So
yo, his internet has been destroying him, yo. Oh, that's another
Yeah,
thing for 2020. Ray, get better internet, please.
that needs to be your New Year's resolution.
I can't even hear him. If he's talking, I can't hear him.
Hey, also, internet man, GoFundMe account, Ray man. We can set you up, man. Get you a Comcast January month. Set your GoFundMe account, man.
You know, you
Internet
need,
from Comcast is like what $29. GoFundMe account, man. We can set it up every month, man. You can chip in, man. We help you out.
yeah, because this is oof, you struggling. That Wi-Fi working hard.
Shoot, stop
That's,
downloading so much porn.
hey man, sometimes he probably downloading the high res shits too. You know how much bandwidth that shit take.
Oh,
That
jeez.
shit's weird in HD too. I need a little griminess. I can't have the entire HD on it because then it'll look too real, and I'm like, and I can see fluids and shit. Like, nah.
I need an adult. For those who are familiar with Dragon Ball Z Abridged, I need an adult.
All right, there we go. He's about to come back in, and then it's gonna be fixed again.
Yeah, for like 5 minutes.
He under a time limit.
Somebody came in late. Who's it?
I think they just coming back in, but that's funny though.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can
Now
hear
we
you.
can.
Oh my god! I had to switch to my damn laptop and put the Ethernet cord in.
Thank God.
Okay.
Any
Internet tripping.
golly. Okay, for my New Year's resolution, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get better internet. We gonna.
Hallelujah.
Oh my god, because this is never have I ever had to go through this on a podcast. Thank God this shit is pre-recorded.
Ooh.
And on okay, let me just say my shit. It seems like yesterday that I was on deployment. I was in Marseille, France with my man Tony, and it seems like doing all. I was traveling the world to where I'm now back home with trying to get got my degree, was doing films, and I'm meeting everybody here in this panel. So like change is a motherfucker for me. So is I feel like for myself I done grown a lot. I feel like for myself I done grown a lot, and like I have a lot of people that I would say I done built a strong friendship with everybody here that I can like go to and I can get advice from, even if they are younger than me. It's like you could still get advice from people, and they could have some wise things to say. I feel like I done met a lot of stupid people that showed me, especially at my old school, that showed me no matter how dumb you think you can get, people can get dumber. So Um, also, when I started this podcast, I honestly did not think I would see it going this far to where we got a lot of episodes. I can't even count how many episodes we got now. So I'm it to me. I feel like I had to appreciate everything that was given to me and everything that I've done because as humans, like we just can't be stagnant. And that's the one thing I would take from this decade is that we can't be stagnant. The moment you're stagnant, the moment everybody else surpasses you, and everybody else is doing things while you're just stuck in one spot. So if I have any advice for anybody, is to keep moving. If not mentally, if not mentally, physically, like just keep moving because obviously you're going to get somewhere. And me, I've always been a wanderer, so I've always walked into random things. If it was like, if it was being like a brazier slash welder in the Navy to doing film and photos and all the other stuff, I'll just keep on pushing. So I I don't know, man. I have a love and appreciation for everyone here, and I have a love and appreciation for this podcast. I hope I hope like when we go into the year 2020, everything is better because like one of y'all said, if there when there's ups, there's always down. Um, Depression has been a real big hitter this decade. Whether you thought depression is real or you thought someone was faking it, like it really, really like hit people, and you can see how it really does affect people. So the fact that we're talking about it more as a black community, that's really great. And I hope like for people that need therapy, they go to therapy. But for someone with like a strong bond or a strong community around them, they could get them help too. So with that being said, when we go into 2020, I would like to see all that just improve greatly. And I'll say it once, I'll say it again. A lot of black entrepreneurship. I hope that improves greatly too. And I hope that I hope we get to a point where we don't even need reparations to like get ourselves out the hole. Like we just get ourselves out the hole, and everybody can how could I say this? We could be the people that people go to instead of just stealing from us. Like they're going to need stuff from us in a way. Just and that's and, and that's basically it. I also have a question. Like, what was y'all like favorite either movie, whether it's been movies, games, or music? What are some of your favorite things that came out in this decade?
That's a lot of shit. Oh,
Joker. Joker.
I,
I have a lot.
I
Hands,
haven't
hands
seen
down.
Joker.
Hands down. Joker is the best movie I ever seen.
I still need to see that.
Like that movie was so good. Like, oh, I found your glasses. Yeah, nah. Damn, what the fuck? Uh, nah. Joker was probably the best movie I've seen of this year. And actually of this decade. Because if it was still like 2008, 2009, I still gotta give it to The Dark Knight. But shit, in this decade, yeah, it definitely was Joker because when you look at everything that happened throughout the decade, it was really just a building up of the Marvel movies. And some of them are better than others, but they all follow that same kind of like formula because they were just building up to that Infinity War and the End Game.
Yeah.
So Joker was a good standalone film on its own. As far as games, Persona 5
God,
for me. Persona 5, it was just it was just amazing inside and out from the story to that to still the reason why Persona 5 is my favorite is not because it's just an all-around great game, but the fact that it's in such an old genre of game in that classic RPG style and it still competed with the big hitters in 2016. Like that's an accomplishment. Um it still competed with those. Uh
Alright. Hmm.
like that's why I like that game so much because RPG style is going away, and even if you look at Final Fantasy, it's no longer turn based, and a lot of the new games it's more of that action kind of like RPG type of thing. So the fact that they still sticking to the formula and improving it, like I ain't never see so many characters do so many backflips and kicks just by pressing attack on the menu. Like it was crazy. But yeah, that
uh,
definitely Joker Persona 5. Like
uh, I've never played any of the Persona series to begin with.
you gotta
I
you
might
gotta
even
get
look into
started.
that.
It's not too late. Trust me. When Persona 5 the Royale comes out March 31st, get that bitch. Get that bitch. Like that game deserves to be played. Like Persona 5 is, and I'm sorry for all you viewers that may or may not know this reference, but Persona 5 is a beautiful porn star that ain't just been fucked right yet. It's up to you to fuck it right. Like
speaking of that, shout out to my boy ASAP Rocky.
bruh, shout out to the boy.
Wow.
ASAP.
It-
But yeah, that's exactly what Persona 5 is, Dion. Like until you play that game, nobody gonna play it like you.
I
That's how
guess
good that game is. That's how good that game is.
there's another game I could probably say the same thing about, and and that'd be, laugh all you want, but that'd be Destiny.
Which one? One or two?
Well, definitely, definitely one.
Okay.
Number one, in my opinion, is going to go down as a classic. Destiny
Probably
2,
so. Yeah.
with a lot of the changes they've made behind the scenes, it's getting better, and it's one of those things. Okay, I've still been playing it even with all the BS that's been going on with the game, and I'm excited to see what comes out of this game next year.
Right.
It's great, and and if anyone who doesn't have Destiny 2 yet, out of this group, go ahead, pick it up, try it out. I'm actually the leader of a clan, so I can put you on. Me and my boys will help you get caught up and everything. Hook you up with whatever weapons we can get to. You know all of that good stuff. My clan is called the Twisted Lightbearers.
I got Destiny, but like I stopped playing it only because like it's just hard for me to really stick with FPSs. They're not bad games, but like
It
I'm just
if you
such a
like if you
fucking
like
weeb.
platforming, if
It's
you
just
like
hard for me to play
the
those
first
games.
person shooters, it's a fusion of different genres. That's
Yeah.
and if they've delved away from the lore in Destiny 2 just a little bit, as opposed to Destiny 1, where a lot of the focus was in fact on the lore and on the backstories with all the different characters, the different races of, different species of aliens you come across. You know,
Yeah.
I'm mad they killed off my favorite character, but I'm not gonna speak too much on that. I don't want to give nothing away.
They still don't know people's favorite character. That's like everything you love. Your favorite character probably
At
dead.
least yours don't get nerfed like mine do. All my favorite characters get nerfed.
That's why I make sure I don't like the same characters as well.
But man, the standout, the on in my personal opinion, though, like the ultimate standout game in terms of this past year, I'm gonna I'm gonna give it to Tekken 7. I'm gonna
Interesting.
give that I'm gonna give that to Tekken 7.
Wait, like this year or this decade?
I mean, I should. Well, I want to say this year, but Tekken 7's been out for approaching 2 years, so you know.
Five,
Yeah.
So what?
five.
Wait, it's been that long?
Yeah, it released in
Yes,
arcade for
5 years. Been out for
Yeah,
like 5 years.
Tekken been out for a hot minute. Tekken
Oh
7,
damn!
yeah.
It
That
don't feel
game is
like it.
like
Yeah,
It
it
don't
does
feel
because
like
I
it.
was
But then
like
again,
that.
it's probably just because they just added some new stuff to it, so it don't feel like it. But
I'm
yeah,
not gonna lie. Namco got my respect on the longevity of Tekken because Capcom can't even keep a Street Fighter game around longer than these days in 3 years without having you pay 5 sets of $30.
yeah, I gave up on Street Fighter 5.
Yeah, no. Capcom gave up before you did. They put the game out, everyone hated it, and then they were like, "All right, let's remake Resident Evil
Hey,
2, get the fans
hey,
back,"
since this
and
is being
then released
recorded,
that for
right?
Street Fighter
If
Five.
there's anyone who has any form of association with Capcom, listen, bring back Dark Stalkers.
Yo, they teased that like 4 years ago, and ain't nothing happened.
And whoever the Bloody Roar franchise belongs to, revive that too.
Damn. Um. Yo, this decade. There's a
I was
lot
about
of.
to say, who's next?
There's a lot of this fucking decade, bro. Like, all right. So when it comes to movies, I'm just gonna say the entire MCU. Like the entire MCU was just the progression. Now, of course, some of the movies wasn't that great, but like the progression from like the movies and how everything, like when you watch the movies like in order, and then you got to watch Infinity War, it just made Infinity War that much like better. Where like the implications of what the fuck is actually happening and all the bullshit they had to deal with only for that shit to end up the way it did in Infinity War, bruh. Woo! Yo, that
Hey,
movie,
no,
that
no
movie changed
lie,
my
I kind of feel you on that because Endgame and Infinity War are two of the Marvel movies that I don't need to watch a second time. Everything came full circle. I don't need to watch it again.
God.
Sure. Well, there's still a matter of shit. Well, what's next? I still have to watch Endgame and Far From Home. I still haven't seen either of those yet.
Yeah. Now, Far From Home was good. I still like Into the Spider Verse better, but Far From Home was good.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Watching like when you watch Infinity War for like a second or third time, it still hurts, to watch
That's why I
that
won't watch it
movie.
again.
But
That's why I don't want to watch it again. Yeah, it hurts too
yeah,
much.
like shout out to the entire MCU. Shout out to Black Panther especially because that really started a revolution. And like I can really say that because me being African, like I always did want people like because we all know the history. I always did want people to like appreciate African culture and embrace it more because that's y'all. You know what I'm saying? So I did want that. Happy that Black Panther, even though it wasn't all perfect, but I am happy that it gave everybody a lane to like come in and start accepting African culture. Now we got like people like Burna Boy and Mr. Easy, like they doing big things in terms of African music and stuff like that and making it digestible to the world. So I'm happy about that. So I gotta shout out the whole MCU as in terms of movies. Um and also for video games, yo, there was a lot of good games that came out. Of course, I'm always gonna shout out Tekken because that's my game. I'm gonna shout out Street Fighter. I'm gonna shout out like all the fighting games because I think fighting games are amazing, and I think more people need to play them. I especially want to shout out Killer Instinct because Killer Instinct has literally some of the best soundtrack I've ever heard in a video game, just in terms of aesthetic and also just in terms of how they fit into the foundation of the game and how it's dynamic. So if you're standing still, the music is going to play a certain way. If you're doing a combo, the music is going to play a certain way. If you do an ultra combo, the music is going to play a certain way. So I got a shout out to that game specifically. I think that game did not get as much respect as it deserves. Just bro, they had a mode where you can record how you fight your character and upload it so that other people can fight that. Like that is
Yeah.
mind blowing to me. Like why? Like it did so many good things like the correct way. The net code is some of the best in fighting games. Period. That game did a lot of things correctly, and to just see it fade into the limelight when it should still be playing now, or it should have had like a revision or something like that. But that game, like that's probably one of my
That's the
favorites.
same thing that happened to Virtual Fighter 5 Final Showdown. When people
Yeah,
were complaining about Virtual Fighter 5, they remade it, gave everybody what they asked for, and nobody played it.
and like these games are really good and they really thought of and just a lot of shit that goes into those
I
games.
wouldn't know. See, my whole thing is, if I remember correctly, the new Killer Instinct was an Xbox exclusive, right?
Yeah, but then they ported it to PC.
Oh well, Xbox and PC. I don't play games on PC, and I don't have an Xbox. I have a PS4. I played the original Killer Instinct way back in the '90s for the Super Nintendo. I played that one, and I loved it. I have yet to touch the new one like at all. But matter of fact, I still, if you bought the original OG Killer Instinct from the Super Nintendo, or whatever, when it first came out, the first few like hundred or so people to buy the game, you got a special CD with like all the music from the game and stuff on the CD, and I actually have some of those songs on my phone. So yeah, showing my age a little bit.
No, but that also shows that's what probably fucked it up was that it wasn't on all platforms.
Oh
And
yeah,
normally fighting games come across the board.
oh yeah. if it had been on the PS4, I probably wouldn't have bought any other fighting game. That nostalgia would have took over because the original Killer Instinct was so much fun. That nostalgia would have took over, and it would have been a wrap. But yeah, what else? How come everyone's muted? Am I muted? No, I'm not muted. If someone's trying to speak, unmute yourself. I hear nothing. Niggas is muted. Okay. Oz is back.
I hear you. Everybody else muted.
Okay, and Mark is still muted.
Yeah, I'm right here, but I'm about to take a shower, so I don't know where your internet got going on again.
Who knows?
You know what? I think we pretty much got everything that we wanted to say. Um, yeah, Killer Instinct, fighting games,
2020
Fortnite was
game,
cool.
2019 Game Awards was trash.
2019 Game Boy was trash. Death Stranding still looks boring as fuck to me.
But got 3 awards.
Yeah, that bullshit. But hey,
The only thing I'm going to say, and on the whole subject of gaming, I want to see more out of Nintendo.
yeah. Well, I think Nintendo has had a really good decade. It's had a lot of console releases and stuff like that. There was a lot of hype generated with some of the titles that they was coming out, like
Nintendo needs to
Astro
stop
Chain, for
rushing their
example.
projects.
Hey man, supply and demand, bro. That goes
Here's my
to the
thing.
consumer.
They've got something beautiful going with the Switch. Ride this wave. Ride this wave. Don't rush to put out your next thing. No one else has anything like the Switch available. Ride this
Yeah, but
wave, Nintendo.
you you could also say the same thing about the Wii U because the Wii U was popping when it came out. The Smash Bros. It was going to have Smash Brothers and all that. There was a lot of good games for the Wii U that came out, but
Yes,
then
yes, yes.
so yeah, that's on Nintendo. But yeah, I don't know what was going on with his internet. I think we pretty much covered everything that we wanted to say, or at least I have. But I'm just gonna go ahead and end it. This is, what? Let me just say, podcast, and we are signing out. Peace.
One more thing, quick, fast. Before we sign off, in this past decade, we've lost a lot of people, a lot of celebrities, a lot of unjust deaths or whatever. So as we sign off for the night, say a prayer for the people we've lost. Keep them in your thoughts. You dig? And with that,
Amen.
I'm done.
Ashe. Shalom balaboko shai. Goodbye.
Yep.
See y'all in 2020.
Yep.